श्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजम् ब्रह्मणाम् ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामभित्र्यवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्
गणानां त्वा गणानां त्वा गणपतिं त्वा गणानां त्वा गणपतिं त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे गणपतिं त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे गणपतिगुं हवामहे गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविगुं हवामहे गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं गणपतिमिति गणपतिं हवामहे कविगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनां कविगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् उपमश्रवस्तममित्युपमश्रवः तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणः ज्येष्ठराजमिति ज्येष्ठ राजम् ब्रह्मणस्पते ब्रह्मणस्पत आपते ब्रह्मणस्पत आ पत आपते पत आनो न आपते पत आनः आनो न आन शृण्वन् शृण्वन् न आन शृण्वन् न शृण्वन् शृण्वन्नो न शृण्वन्नोतिभिरोतिभिः शृण्वन्नो न शृण्वन्नोतिभिः शृण्वन्नोतिभिरोतिभिः शृण्वन् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीद सीदोतिभिः शृण्वन् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीद ऊतिभिः सीद सीदोतिभिरोतिभिः सीद सादनगुं सादनगुं सीदोतिभिरोतिभिः सीद सादनम् ऊतिभिरित्यूतिभिः सीद सादनगुं सादनगुं सीद सीद सादनम् सादनमिति सादनम्
प्रणो नः प्रप्रणो देवी देवी नः प्रप्रणो देवी नो देवी देवी नो नो देवी सरस्वती सरस्वती देवी नो नो देवी सरस्वती देवी सरस्वती सरस्वती देवी देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजेभिः सरस्वती देवी देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिः सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजेभिः सरस्वती सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती वाजिनीवती वाजेभिः सरस्वती सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती वाजिनीवती वाजेभिर्वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती वाजिनीवतीति वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवित्री धीनान् धीनामवित्र्यवत्ववत्ववित्री धीनान् धीनामवित्र्यवतु अवित्र्यवत्ववत्ववित्र्यवित्र्यवतु अवत्वित्यवतु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Om Shri Sai Ram. Welcome to this evening session of the second Global Vedam Conference. At the outset of this session, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce the first speaker for this session, Professor Sannidhanam Sudarshan Sharma ji. He is a distinguished scholar of the Vedas and the Sanskrit language. He is the founding Vice-Chancellor of the Tirupati Vedic University, serving 3 terms as the Vice-Chancellor of this institution. He will be addressing us on the topic, Reclaiming the Scientific Spirit of the Vedas, a pioneering vision of integrating Vedic knowledge with modern education. Professor Sannidhanam Sudarshan Sharma ji. Sai.
My humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Managing Trustee Sri Ratnakarji, All India President Sri Nimish Pandyaji, my mentor, Gurti Subramanianji, distinguished scholars, brothers and sisters. Reclaiming the spirit of Vedic sciences and integrating the Vedic science with the modern one. This topic contains broadly 2 items. What is the content of Vedic sciences? Number 1. How to unite, how to integrate. This is the second one. The focal point is Veda. Then what is Veda? It is very difficult to define it. Several people have tried. But I think it is the superhuman revelation. How it came to us. It came through the Maharshis, through the Vedic sages, by oral transmission. Oral transmission is the best way of preserving the Vedas. The rishis, they are not dogmatic. There are several proofs. Vasishtho rauhineyo mimagum sanchakre. There were groups of sages. They were having dialogues. There were discussions. Mimagumsan chakre. Mimamsa means discussion. And the best example is Prashna Upanishad, one of the 14 principal Upanishads, wherein a group of scholars approach a guru and put on so many questions. And they get answers from the Guru. This is how the Vedic knowledge came to us. What the Veda proposes, what is the subject matter? In single word, it is dharma. You all know, Vedo kilo dharma moolam. And what is dharma? Again, it is a puzzle to define it. What I understand is one's own duty depending upon the circumstances. That is called dharma. Your own duty depending upon the circumstances. When you are a child, your duties are different. When you are grown up, your duties are different. When you are in office, your duties are different. When you are at home, your duties will differ. But dharma never changes. It will not differ. The factors of dharma may differ. See the narrow line of difference. Dharma never changes, but the factors will change. I will give you an example. You stand there in the darkness, focus a torchlight onto your face, and move the torch. Your shadow will be moving. But actually, you are not moving, your shadow is not moving. Chalana pratitihi. It is an illusion that dharma changes. Dharma never changes. Dharma is written for every man, for every circumstance, for every minute, for every factor. So, this dharma is a combination of character, culture, science, and spiritualism. These four items are mingled in dharma. The Vedic literature is very vast. There are Vedangas, there are Darshanas, and so many rishis are there. This is all human knowledge. To purify it, our ancestors have put on some filters. They are called pramanas, pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, shabda. If the knowledge passes through the pramanas, then it is pure. You can accept it. If it fails at any stage, you have to push it back. So that is the message given by the sages, Vedic rishis. Then how to understand the Veda? To understand the Veda, we have to live with Veda. Lead a Vedic life, then you can understand better. How to live with Veda? Follow what the Vedic dictum is. What are the ordinances of Veda? Follow the culture. Follow the tradition. For example, fasting, bathing, eating, festivals, all this is Vedic life. At Makara Sankranti, we will take an oil bath on the previous day. That is a culture to some people, what they understand. But it is a character, as some people understand. It gives strength to your nervous system, and your life will be rejuvenated by the oil bath. That is science. When you have a sound mind and body, you will start thinking of the spiritualism, and that ultimately leads you to the moksha. So a simple bath contains so many things. Kartika snana. Snana, bathing in the rivers. That too at the Brahmi Muhurta. This is our culture. This is science. This is spiritualism, ultimately. Sir, fasting. On Ekadasi, we will observe fasting. It is a culture, Indian culture. It is a character. It is a self-control. You are hungry, but still you won't eat. That gives command on your mind. So, that mind which takes control over the other things, will ultimately lead you to the moksha. Indriya nigraha, without which moksha is impossible. Sir, this is what is dharma. We have to follow that. If we follow, we can understand the Veda in a better manner. So this is the Vedic science. This is what the Veda teaches us. And how to unite this with our present life. How to unite this? We have to bring in the Vedic science, the culture, and everything to the modern society. For this, we have to make some curricular changes, some pedagogical changes. I'm not proficient in pedagogy, but still I know that the pedagogy, the science of education, classifies the teachers into three kinds: good, better, and best. The good teacher teaches. The better teacher guides. The best teacher inspires. He will not teach. I will give you examples from Veda itself. Prashna Upanishad, as I already told you, says that, in that Pippalada says, there are 72 crores, 72 lakhs, 10,201 blood vessels in the heart or in the human body. You may call it vein or artery, whatever it is, where through the blood passes. And then the Jaiminiya Brahmana enumerates that there are 365 bones in the human body which are visible. And equal number of bones are there which are invisible. There are so many planets in the galaxy. They are regulated. They are controlled in their orbits. They won't fall down. They won't deviate. What is the force that is controlling them? It is called Vishnu. Vishnuna vidhrute bhumi iti vatsasya vedana. Who has invented this doctrine? Vatsa. There was a sage by name Vatsa. That is his invention. And surprisingly, where from the time born, Kala apsuni vishante, the time is born out of water. So, this type of Vedic education contains so many features of science. We need not speak about Nasadiya Sukta, Nasadasit, No Sadasit. It looks like a puzzle which you cannot understand. But it is not a puzzle, but it is a riddle wherein the answer is spoken. Answer is very much there. You have to search for it. Yo asya, the last sentence I utter, Yo asya dhyaksha parame vyoman. So angaveda yadivana veda. Who is on the top? Whether he knows it or not, I don't know. This is the riddle. Yo asya adhyakshaha, who is on the top, he knows everything. That is the answer. Sir, a better teacher. A student came to a guru and asked, Sir, in Upanishads it is told, Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan. The Paramatma is biggest of big and smallest of small. How this is possible? Then the Guru told, you go and think for a month and then come back. Like this, 12 months passed. After 1 year, the Guru saw him, again approaching him, and asked him, he was sitting under a peepal tree, Vatavriksha. He asked the student to pick up one fruit and break it. He broke it. There is a small seed. You break that one. Yeah. There was a shell. Under the shell, there was some substance. You know, what is this? This is the tree under which we are sitting. Anuradha, the smallest of small, the biggest of big. Another Shishya came. So, the seed contains the tree. Anuradha Mahato Mahiyan. This is how we should understand. Then, another student came and asked, Sir, you say that Brahma is everywhere. How can it be possible? How can one thing will be everywhere? After 1 year, the Guru, in the same manner, asked him to get some water. He brought the water. He asked to mix salt in it. He mixed the salt. The Guru asked the student to take a spoon of water from the surface level of the water. He took, how it is? Saltish. You take from the middle part, how it is? Saltish. You take from the bottom, it is also saltish. This is how Paramatma is everywhere. This is the way the Vedic sages taught us. Unfortunately, we forgot. The best, these are the better teachers. The best teacher is Bhrugurvaiva Runihi Varunam Pitaramupasasara. Many of you know this. The Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, then step by step, he goes up. Ultimately, he reached the Anandamaya Kosha. And that is how the Vedic sages teach us. So, this Vedic knowledge is not outdated, as I think. This may give at least some clues to the modern scientists, clues or leads to the modern scientists, so that our scientists, Indian scientists, can have an edge over the scientists of foreign countries, if we can sufficiently equip them with the Vedic knowledge. Friends, the Vedic science is very noble, at the same time very simple. There was a farmer, an agriculturist. He was looking at the sky, whether it would rain. There was a cloud, there was a thunder, lightning, everything. He was looking, staring at it. Nearby, a scholar was, a priest was passing by. And he asked the priest, Swami, O Lord, will it rain? Then that priest uttered a sloka, Vataya Kapila Vidyut. If the lightning has got snuff color tinge, then there will be heavy wind. The clouds will be scattered and there will not be rain. Atapaya Atilohini. If the lightning has reddish tinge, then there will be heavy summer. Sunlight will be more. Vrishtaye Pita Varnabha. If the lightning has got yellowish tinge, then there will be sufficient rain. If the color of the lightning is white, pure white, then there will be drought. Friends, our Indian astrologers predict solar and lunar eclipses by making some simple calculations. They don't have any observatory or laboratory. You can imagine how magnificent is the Vedic science. Veda says, Uttishtata Jagrata, pull up your socks. Don't waste your time. Take refuge at the feet of the Vedic rishis. Bhagavan Satya Sai Baba will help us. Today, incidentally, Vasanta Panchami, the birthday of Saraswati Devi, the presiding deity of all the educations and other disciplines. We will have her blessings also. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Our next speaker for the session is Dr. Anuradha Choudry. Dr. Anuradha is the coordinator for the Indian Knowledge Systems Division of Ministry of Education, Government of India at NIEPA, New Delhi. At IIT Kharagpur, Dr. Anuradha is a faculty at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences and is associated with the Center of Excellence for Indian Knowledge Systems. Dr. Anuradha will be sharing her thoughts on topic Vedic Psychology and the Evolution of Consciousness, a Path to Integral Well-Being. I warmly invite Dr. Anuradha Choudry to share her reflections. Sai Ram.
Namaste, Sai Ram, Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. I'd like to start with an invocation. And this is an invocation to all the universal forces that make anything possible. Om Shanno Mitra Shamvarunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspatihe Shanno Vishnururukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhagavate Shri Satya Sai Swamine Namaha. Upasthitebhyaha Gurujanebhyaha Shri Chakravarti Varyebhyaha Shri Nimisha Varyebhyaha Shri Ratnakara Varyebhyaha Shri Subramanyam Mahabhagebhyaha Shri Vedanarayan Mahabhagebhyaha Jnanavriddhebhyaha Sannidhana Varyebhyaha Anya Shrestha Vaktribhyaha Jyeshthaibhyaha Sahodarebhyaha Sahodaribhyaha Matribhyascha Mama Sadara Pranaman Vyaharami. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Subramaniam Bhaina. I call him Bhaina as elder brother in Odia. And for giving me this opportunity once again to be in Puttaparthi in this very auspicious and sacred location to speak a few words on a topic that has been very close to my heart. So the subject, as Bhagini has kindly introduced, is on Vedic psychology and the evolution of consciousness and the path to integral well-being. I will also talk to you, or I'd like to start this by sharing with you a little bit about my personal journey into the Vedas. I grew up in the Sri Aurobindo International Center of Education in Pondicherry. And when I was in my college, which we call Knowledge, there were 2 quotations of Sri Aurobindo that I read, which inspired me to follow this path. The first one is, he says, "I seek not science, not religion, not theosophy, but Veda, the truth about Brahman, not only about his essentiality, but about his manifestation. Not a lamp on the way to the forest, but a light and a guide to joy and action in the world. The truth which is beyond opinion, the knowledge which all thought strives after. Yasmin vijñate sarvam vijñatam." I believe that Veda to be the foundation of the Sanatana Dharma. I believe it to be the concealed divinity within Hinduism. But a veil has to be drawn aside. A curtain has to be lifted. I believe it to be knowable and discoverable. The belief that the future of India and the world to depend on its discovery and on its application, not to the renunciation of life, but to life in the world and among men. So Sri Aurobindo himself was a great scholar of various subjects. He was very well versed with all of European thought. And then when he came to Bharata, he took the responsibility of completely immersing himself into the civilizational contributions that this land has made. And one cannot talk about it without referring to the Vedas as being the foundation of everything that has come out of this land. So the second quotation that he says is, "The recovery of the perfect truth of the Vedas is not merely a desideratum of modern intellectual curiosity, but a practical necessity for the future of the human race." So growing up in this kind of an environment with these words, I was very fascinated to try and delve deeper to understand what is that one secret, that knowing which you would know everything. And so when he pointed out to the Vedas, I said this would be a text worth looking into. And Sri Aurobindo himself has written a lot about it from a psycho-spiritual dimension, which means that he looked at the text and tried to understand what is the spiritual and psychological dimensions that are embedded in these texts. So then I said that, okay, so what are these Vedas really all about? When we think of it, the Vedas are understood at 3 levels largely. At the Adhi Bhautika level, they are texts of Karma Kanda, where certain rituals have to be performed, and those rituals have their benefits at a very material plane, which means that if one is performing those and the ingredients that we're putting it, they're first and foremost very beneficial for the environment in which that particular ritual has taken place. But is it only that? No, it takes us a step beyond. We get into the Adhi Daivika interpretation of the text. Here these texts are talking of the relationship of the humans with the gods. What is this relationship and who are these gods? So when we look at the world, we only look at, let's say we look at the sun, because we are limited by our sensorial understanding of reality, we would say that that sun is only that fireball in the sky. But for the Vedic Rishi, they were able to look at the energy that is behind it, at the living embodiment of energy that it represents. So they saw it as the Surya Deva. But then there was another level. So there was another level where the same fireball became a symbol of something that is universal, something that is abstract, a reality that is important for all of us. And at that level, the sun became a symbol of truth. So the Gayatri mantra, when we are saying Tat Savituhu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, what is our invocation? Dhiyo yo naf prachodayat. If you think of it very, very literally, the question that comes up is how can that sun, that fireball, illuminate our intelligence? So just by that very fact, we know that they're referring to something beyond the sensorial understanding of that sun. And then when we look at deeper translations and interpretations, we realize that that fireball is also a symbol of truth. So it's an invocation for that truth of things to illumine our minds. Because when our minds are not in darkness and in light, then everybody will move forward in a more harmonious manner. So we see that the Vedas have these three levels of interpretation: the Adibhautika, the Adidaivika, and the Adhyatmika. The material physical, the occult spiritual, and the abstract at the level of truth, at that level. So then the question is, what are these Vedas really all about? And we come to the root of the word, Vid. Vid has 4 meanings in Sanskrit. So Vid can mean to know. Vid also means to be. Vid also means to obtain or to get. And finally, Vid means to think, manane. So what therefore is the content of the Vedas? What are the Vedas really trying to tell us? So we try and combine these 4 meanings, and you get it that Veda is that knowledge that you have to get on how to be. And how do we arrive there? By thinking on it, by doing manana. And what is the benefit of this process of manana? The process of manana has the power to transform who we are by constant association with those ideas. And then wanting to convert it into nididhyasana, which is the practice in life. Okay, so Vedas therefore is not just a text that we have to read. That is the apara part of the book. So the book of knowledge has again 2 dimensions. There is an apara part, which is about the knowledge of the world. It is telling us about things. And the other, it is telling us about who we are. So this dimension becomes extremely important when we are trying to understand what are the Vedas telling us, what are the Vedas really telling us, and how are they connected to the whole process of the evolution of consciousness and leading to our integral well-being. So then, the path that I would like to follow next is to ask the question. So the object or the goal before us that the Veda says is, who are you? Who do we become? So there is a journey from being to becoming and then coming back to being again. So what is this path and how do we go about accessing and understanding that path? So there is this, what I am calling the framework of the Sanskrit vibhaktis or the karakas. So in Sanskrit grammar, they ask every verb is connected to these vibhaktis, the cases that we talk about. So what are these cases? The first is the karta, the subject. And the question is who. The second is what. The third is how. The fourth is why. The fifth is from where. The sixth is not exactly a karaka. And the last one, the karaka here, is where and when. And the sixth is what is the association with everything around it. So I said, if we look at this framework and try and understand the Vedas from there, we can see what does it really reveal to us. So when we talk about who are we, that becomes a central question. And when we talk of Vedic psychology as well, because psychology, the domain of psychology, is dealing with the study of the psyche. And in modern psychology, the word psyche has changed from being the study of the soul, which it was in the Greek origin, all the way up to the study of mind and behavior. So what is that entire range that we have to understand? All the way from the soul to the range of action, to thoughts and behavior. And what do the Vedas have to tell us in this? So here we see that the Vedas therefore are talking to us about a path of integral well-being by falling back on a clarity of understanding of who am I. And this takes up the entire spectrum of being within, relating to the world without, and then understanding what is the relationship of the within and the without. Okay, so what is the relationship between all this? So Sri Aurobindo talks of 4 doctrines. They are known as the doctrines of the mystics. In the book, The Secret of the Vedas. So when he came upon his own his own understanding of the Vedic text, he wrote a book called The Secret of the Veda. And what does he say there? He says that the Vedic rishis were talking of 4 things. The first is, how do we go from imperfect states of being to more perfect states of being? So this tells us that there are two parts. There is one dimension of who we are right now in our manifested self, and who can we become in our potential absolute reality. And are we already that somewhere? Okay. So in this, I thought I will make you do an exercise. So I love to make you do an exercise. I don't want it to be a monologue. So I invite you to join me for an exercise to get an understanding of who really are we. Okay. So just imagine that you're standing in front of a mirror. What do you see generally? You will see color, you will see a shape, you will see size, you will see texture, you will see age, you will see gender, maybe some other signs of community affiliations. You will see all of this. Now, all of you have come very beautifully dressed for the function here. If you're in your house and you're relaxing, you will wear a different set of clothes because you are contextually dressing up whatever you consider is you. There is a presentation of the self. All right. Now, imagine that you have a specs or a lens and you're looking at yourself through an X-ray lens. What will you see? You will see bones. You will see a skeleton there. Will you just bang your hand like that? If you can see a bone structure, will you just do that? You will think twice, right? Because I can see the shock on my bones. If you have to, if you've got the lens and you can see everybody only in bone structures, what will happen? Will you worry about scarf, this, that? It is a level of reality, right? It changes the way we understand reality. Same reality, different lens. Imagine you have a microscopic lens. What will you see? Bacteria. In the morning, Sudha ma'am talked about, health and many other connections with virus and bacteria and all, microbes. So suddenly you see that everything is bacteria. It's a whole different world. Then what will be the basis of your choice? You will see what is good bacteria and bad bacteria. Nothing else matters. So understanding of world will change. Okay, now what do we see here? That reality is the same, but the lens that we are using is changing the way in which we are understanding the reality that we are interacting with. That will have an impact on behavior. That will have an impact on the outcome. This is very important. So now I invite you to look at the world through a quantum lens, which means that you have, supposing the hand, you're using the microscope, you're going deeper, you're using an even more powerful lens, a very powerful lens, and you are going to the level of the atoms and the particles, you're going all the way there. You're looking at yourself through that lens. Will you see yourself there? You will not see yourself. You will not see this. Are you there or have you disappeared? You are there. So, what is there? So, we are there. What is the form that we see us in? More space than matter. It is vibratory space that we see. Right? So, there is vibratory space. Are you conscious that you're there? You are conscious that you're there. All right, so we are conscious. We know that we are there. And now you put that specs and you look at the world around you. Will you see everybody else? What do we see? We see just vibrations. Only vibrations and different forms of energy that we live. So when in the Vedas they talked about the essential reality, they said that there is Sat, we are there. We are conscious that we are there, Chit. And because if you look at the world through this lens, everything is energy, vibrating energy, stretching into infinity. And therefore, the experience, the emotional experience can be that of bliss and of love. So when Swamiji, who wore that lens most of the time, and he was always at that level of consciousness, where he was seeing people what they're capable of. He looked at people at that level, not in terms of, if you wear that quantum lens and somebody says this is fair, this is dark, fat, thin, all of that doesn't make any sense. You look at the quality of the souls and what they are capable of. So you look at it in terms of vibrations. So reality becomes a way of understanding qualities of vibratory patterns. And there are three qualities largely. There are vibrations that are in alignment, sattva. There are vibrations that are completely messed up and dark, tamas. And there are vibrations in between, dynamic, and that's the rajas. So if the world indeed is all about vibrations, then how do we move from very complex, naughty vibratory patterns to more aligned sattvic patterns? So when we talk of the evolution of consciousness, we understand that it is talking about the thoughts, the speech, and the words and actions that will move us from not small thoughts, but big thoughts, aligned thoughts. That is what the whole movement of consciousness is. The more we do that, the more we start resonating. We resonate with the universe, where things are in harmony. The individuals or the creatures that bring disharmony is the human being. And why do we bring disharmony? Because we are unaware of the story and the design of the universe. And therefore we bring disruptions there. So how do we come back to ourselves and align? So the first doctrine of the mystic doctrine was, how do we go from being imperfect to perfect? The second one is, how do we understand the three images, that all of this is a process of a battle, the forces of light and the forces of darkness. So who will win in our ground, our battleground? Whom are we offering to? Whom are we giving the yajna to? The fire. The fire, Agni, comes from what are we aspiring? What are we passionate about? Are we passionate about forces of light, or are we giving it to forces of darkness? How are we doing that process of the yajna? And what is the journey that we're going from lower heights to higher heights? So the final kind of doctrine, he says, is that there is one truth which has many names. So I'll just summarize this for you. The first one is that we are going from imperfections to perfections. What are those imperfections? These noisy patterns that we are. How can we bring in harmony and peace within that, and alignments and light? Second one is the image, three images, the battlefield of forces of light and darkness who are fighting within every individual to take possession. So how do we fight consciously on the side of the light? Next one, the yajna that is taking place. Everything is in a process of exchange. So how do we offer to those forces of light to come and become co-creators of greater harmony, love, and beauty in the world? And the third image is that of a journey that is happening from lower heights to greater heights. And finally, that there is one truth and which has many names. So I was just talking to Chandrasekhar ji before this, who also mentioned that one of the things that Swamiji talked about was about educare. And he gave it a full acronym. So he says it is education beyond diversity in unity for Atma realization. Okay? So, like I said, Swamiji has his way, Bhagavan has his way of telling you what to say. So I would not have talked about this if it had not come to me over lunch. But I think this is what, when we talk about the evolution of consciousness and experiencing the path of integral well-being, it is really putting educare in our daily lives. And when we experience the world through the lens of the quantum reality, we realize that we cannot but love all, serve all, help all, and hurt none. No? And I think this is because at the end of the day, if we can live in that level of consciousness, then we realize that it is not about loving thy neighbor as thyself. It becomes love thy neighbor who is thyself. This is a very big shift. It's not as if, but it is you. So we behave in a way that the world is us, and take care of the world because there is nothing but us in that world. And this expansion of that complete quantum reality is what they call the Brahman consciousness, where we are in a state of complete expansion. So how can we become Aham Brahmasmi, live with Tattvamasi? We are also that. How do we acquire that knowledge? Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. How does that become? Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma. We just have in every single line of the Vedas, this knowledge is being repeated to us again and again and again. So with these few words, I would suggest that, or I would invite all of us to follow the path of the Vedic rishis who said, Krinvantu Vishwamaryam, make of the whole world Aryans. Who are these Aryans? These Aryans are those beings who are ready to fight the battle and fight on the side of light, who are ready to cultivate the soil and grow the seeds of light in them. So can we become Aryans again? And for that, the last mantra of the Rig Veda, which says, Sangachadvam, Samvadadvam, Samvo Manansi Janatam, Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve, Sanjanana upasate. So let's walk together, talk together, know each other's minds together. Because just like we will do this, the gods have already walked this path together to make this beautiful creation possible. So Bahu Dhanyavada and Om Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering our humble pranams at Bhagavan's divine lotus feet. Esteemed elders, dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. At the very outset, let us express our heartfelt gratitude to the two erudite speakers for their scintillating exposition of the sublime truths of Vedas, beautifully illuminated through insightful analogies, evocative anecdotes, and profound verses. We pray to Bhagavan to bless us with the inner vision of truth, witness and experience the love in action everywhere in everyone. As a part of the second Global Veda Conference, and on this auspicious occasion of Vasant Panchami, we reverentially invoke Mother Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, speech, learning, music, and arts. As a humble offering of devotion, we will now chant sacred hymns, Vak Suktam, which venerates the divine power of speech, Shraddha Suktam, which nurtures faith, dedication, and inner resolve, and Medha Suktam, which seeks wisdom, intellect, and clarity of thought. Together, these sacred chants invoke grace and inspiration of the divine, setting a spiritually enriching prelude for today's devotional music program. After the invocatory Vedic hymns, we have two audio-visual presentations. The first presentation is an overview of the ongoing 3-day Global Veda Conference, and the second presentation is an introductory preview for today's devotional music program. We'll now offer Vak Suktam, Shraddha Suktam, and Medha Suktam. Sai Ram.
देवीं वाचमजनयन्त देवाः तां विश्वरूपाः पशवो वदन्ति सा नो मन्द्रेशमूर्जन्दुहाना धेनुर्वागस्मानुपसुष्टुतैतु यद्वाग्वदन्त्यविचेतनानि राष्ट्री देवानान्निशसादमन्द्रा चतस्र ऊर्जन्दुदुहे परागुंसि क्व स्विदस्याः परमञ्जगाम अनन्तामन्तादधिनिर्मितां महीम् यस्या देवा अदधुर्भोजनानि एकाक्षरान् द्विपदागुं षट्पदाञ्च वाचं देवा उपजीवन्ति विश्वे वाचं देवा उपजीवन्ति विश्वे वाचं गन्धर्वाः पशवो मनुष्याः वाची मा विश्वा भुवनान्यर्पिता सा नो हवञ्जुषतामिन्द्रपत्नी वागक्षरं प्रथमजाऋतस्य वेदानां मातामृतस्य नाभिः सा नो जुषाणोपयज्ञमागात् अवन्ती देवी सुहवामे अस्तु यां ऋषयो मन्त्रकृतो मनीषिणः अन्वैच्छन्देवास्तपसाश्रमेण तान् देवीं वाचगं हविषाय जामहे सा नो दधातु सुकृतस्य लोके चत्वारि वाक्परिमिता पदानि तानि विदुर्ब्राह्मणा ये मनीषिणः गुहात्रीणि निहितानि गयन्ति तुरीयं वाचो मनुष्या वदन्ति ॐ श्रद्धयाग्निः समिध्यते श्रद्धया विन्दते हविः श्रद्धां भगस्य मूर्धनि वचसा वेदयामसि प्रियग् श्रद्धे ददतः प्रियग् श्रद्धे दिदासतः प्रियं भोजेषु यज्वसो इदम् उदितं कृधि यथा देवा असुरेषु श्रद्धामुग्रेषु चक्रिरे एवं भोजेषु यज्वसु अस्माकमुदितं कृधि श्रद्धां देवा यजमानाः वायुगोपा उपासते श्रद्धागुं हृदयया कूत्या श्रद्धया हूयते हविः श्रद्धां प्रातर्हवामहे श्रद्धां मध्यन्दिनं परि श्रद्धागुं सूर्यस्य निमृचि श्रद्धे श्रद्धापयेहमा श्रद्धा देवानधिवस्ते श्रद्धा विश्वमिदं जगत् श्रद्धां कामस्य मातरम् हविषा वर्धयामसि ॐ यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासम् शरीरं मे विचर्षणम् जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरि विश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय मेधा देवी जुषमाणा न आगाद्विश्वाचि भद्रासु मनस्यमाना त्वया जुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहद्वदेम विदधे सुवीराः त्वया जुष्टऋषिर्भवति देवि त्वया ब्रह्मा गतश्रीरुतत्वया त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रं विन्दते वसुसानो जुषस्वद्रविणो न मेधे मेधां म इन्द्रो दधातु मेधां देवी सरस्वती मेधां मे अश्विनावुभावा दत्तां पुष्करस्रजा अप्सरासु च या मेधा गन्धर्वेषु च यन्मनः दैवी मेधा सरस्वती सा मां मेधा सुरभिर्जुषताग स्वाहा आमां मेधा सुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सा मां मेधा सुप्रतीकाजुषन्ताम् मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि अग्निस्तेजो दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयीन्द्र इन्द्रियं दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि सूर्यो भ्राजो दधातु हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Natyaveda, Trai Natyakalaha, a trilogy of the performing arts. Sanatana Dharma recognizes that while ultimate realization transcends thought and expression, the human mind and heart must first be refined, attuned, and prepared. Human consciousness is uplifted through lived experience. When sound is heard, movement is witnessed, emotion is awakened, and meaning is inwardly assimilated. It is from this sacred understanding that Natyaveda arose, the synthesis of the performing arts as a presentation for inner refinement and spiritual receptivity. According to the ancient tradition preserved in the Natya Shastra, the art of performance arose when the world began slipping into disorder and people, overwhelmed by desire, conflict, and sorrow, could no longer access the deeper wisdom of the four Vedas. The sages appealed to Lord Brahma for a medium that could elevate the society while remaining accessible to all, regardless of learning, status, or social disparity. Responding with compassion, Brahma drew upon the essence of the four Vedas, taking recitation from the Rig Veda, physical expression from the Yajur Veda, melody from the Sama Veda, and emotions and aesthetic experience from the Atharva Veda, and wove them together into a new discipline, the Natya Veda, the fifth Veda. He entrusted it first to Indra, who recommended that it be given to a sage capable of teaching and performing it. And thus, Bharata Muni was chosen to systematize it. With his 100 sons, the Gandharvas and the Apsaras, Bharata presented the first dramatic performance depicting the churning of the ocean, establishing Natya as a mirror of life that portrays joy and sorrow, virtue and vice, heroism and frailty. Brahma declared that Natya Veda was created for the upliftment of society, for representing life in all its moods, and for teaching dharma through delight, integrating body, voice, costume, and inner feeling. Natya became a comprehensive art form, reflecting the cosmic play of the gods. Shiva's movement, Vishnu's narrative, Saraswati's expression and Lakshmi's grace. Over time, it shaped Indian dance, drama, and music, establishing the foundations of aesthetics, rasa, and artistic experience. Thus, Natya Veda stands as a sacred and universal Veda, a timeless gift meant to harmonize, instruct, and inspire humanity through the transformative power of art. Natya Veda Trai Natya Kalaha, a 3-day evening cultural program. This 3-day evening cultural program, titled Natya Veda Trai Natya Kalaha, presents 3 interrelated dimensions of the performing arts, tracing a complete inner arc from sound to transformation to grace. Day 1, Swara Sharada invokes Goddess Saraswati as the source of melody, where sound refines perception and awakens receptivity. Day 2, Nataraja Tandava reveals Lord Shiva as the cosmic dancer, where rhythm and movement become instruments of transformation. Day 3, Nateshwari Lasya celebrates Goddess Parvati, where grace, balance, and compassion find expression in lived harmony. Across these 3 evenings, Natya Veda is experienced not merely as performance, but as practice, inviting us to surrender distraction to listening, ego to rhythm, and rigidity to grace. Thus, Natya Veda Trai Natya Kalaha is offered as a sacred continuum where art uplifts awareness and beauty gently leads us toward truth. Swara Sharada, invocation of sound and inner awakening. As this 3-day Natya Veda journey begins, we turn first to sound, the subtlest and the most sacred doorway to inner awakening. Among the many pathways through which Sanatana Dharma guides the seeker inward, sound holds a place of singular sanctity. Before form, before movement, before expression, there is nada, the primordial vibration from which creation unfolds. To contemplate sound is to contemplate consciousness itself. At the heart of this sacred vision stands Goddess Saraswati, revered here as Swara Sharada, the divine source from whom melody, learning, and luminous intelligence flow. Swara Sharada reveals to us that music is not merely an art to be mastered, but a sacred flow to be received. From her arise the 7 swaras, not as mechanical notes, but as living expressions of order, harmony, and intelligence. In her presence, Shabda is refined into Swara, and sound becomes capable of carrying meaning, emotion, and truth. This uniquely curated concert traces the origin, nature, and unfolding of the Swaras as a living spiritual progression. The journey begins by evoking the primal emergence of sound, where nada arises as the subtle seed of creation, giving rise to resonance and order. It then turns our awareness toward the divine as the very embodiment of sound itself, where melody is inseparable from worship, and devotion finds expression through vibration and tone. As the progression deepens, we encounter the interplay and splendor of the Sapta Swaras, revealing how balance, beauty, and harmony arise through their relationships. Finally, the movement turns inward, reminding the seeker that when sound is aligned with truth, sincerity, and devotion, it becomes a pathway for inner clarity, guiding the mind towards stillness and reflective quietude. Why begin this journey with sound? Because sound alone reaches where words cannot. Rhythm steadies us, melody softens us, and tone awakens sensitivity within the seeker. When listening itself becomes contemplation, music turns sacred. Through this offering, we surrender distraction to listening, restlessness to rhythm, and noise to harmony. The stage becomes a space of resonance, gently guiding us toward inner stillness, where music ceases to be heard outside and begins to be felt within. Thus, Swara Sharada opens the journey, preparing us inwardly for deeper engagement with the sacred rhythm of existence.
Om Shri Sai Ram, invoking Bhagwan's divine blessings. This evening, we have Srimati Anuradha Mahesh leading the devotional musical offering at Bhagwan's divine lotus feet. Hailing from a family blessed with music, Srimati Anuradha Mahesh was initiated into Carnatic music at a tender age of 7 by her parents, Srimati Renganayaki Kameshwaran and Sri N. Kameshwara Iyer. Trained under several eminent gurus, she currently continues her advanced tutelage under the renowned Vainika Sri A. Anantapadmanabhan. A versatile musician, she is a Vainika, vocalist, composer, author, and musicologist, and has submitted her doctoral thesis in Carnatic music at Sri Shankaracharya University of Sanskrit at Kaladi. She also conducts Nada Yoga sessions exploring sound as a meditative pathway rooted in Carnatic tradition. She is the founder director of Shanmukha Priya Academy of Music, established in the year 1996 at Kochi, and founder chairperson at Shanmukha Priya Foundation, dedicated to preserving Saptanga Samskriti, with nearly 3 decades devoted to music as a spiritual and artistic pursuit. Srimati Anuradha Mahesh continues to inspire through her performances, teaching, and research. This evening, leading the musical offering on Veena and vocal, we have Srimati Anuradha Mahesh. On violin, Srimati Subhashri. On mridangam, Sri Navaneet. On ghatam, Sri Sainath. On kanjira, Sri Shivaramakrishna. As vocal support, we have this evening Miss Lakshmi Nikhil, Miss Darshini Shetty, Miss Lakshmi Prasanna, Miss Sai Parvati, Miss Madhuvanti, Miss Abhinaya, and Miss Anusha Hegde. Please welcome Srimati Anuradha Mahesh and a team of fellow musicians who have come to offer a devotional music program titled Swara Sharada at Bhagwan's Divine Lotus Feet. Jai Sai Ram.
Shri Gurubhyo Namah. गजाननं भूतगणाधिसेवितं कपित्तजम्बू फलसारभक्षितम् उमासुदम् उमासुदं शोकविनाशकारणम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वर नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम् On this auspicious occasion of Vasant Panchami, referred to as the sacred day of wisdom, learning, knowledge, we begin with a musical salutation to Goddess Maha Saraswati, who is the eternal source of knowledge, speech, and illumination. So Vasant Panchami just do not mark a day for learning. It's just not learning, but it is actually a day. It should be always like that. It is an occasion to, it states the inner awareness. It reminds us to stir the inner awareness where sound, thought, and understanding converge. The Rigvedam has got around 72 mantras worshipping Goddess Saraswati. Yajurvedam also echo a few of such mantras on Saraswati. So she is not revered just as a Saraswati Nadi, but she is a luminous power of thought, awareness, the divine force that awakens the consciousness and refines the Vak, that is the faculty of speech, articulation, leading to complete expression. So she has got two names when it comes to the Sri Vidya traditions or the Sri Vidya cult. She is called as the Gupta Gamini. Guptam means secret nature. So it means that Gupta Gamini means she is the luminous power within us, where the divine force awakens the knowledge and passes on through the hidden channel, through the nadis, the Ida, Pingala, Sushumna, all these nadis. So she is the hidden channel. And now when it comes to the Navavarinam concept, she is the Adhidevata of the 7th Avarinam, who is called as, it is the chakram of Sarva Roga Hara Chakram, where Ashtakonam, where we can see 8 Vagdevatas seated there as Vashini, Kameshwari, Modini, Vimala, Aruna, Jayini, Sarveshwari, and Kaulini. So these Vagdevatas, we are all very familiar that they revealed Lalita Sahasranamam to us. So with this thought in our mind, we begin today's musical offering with a kirtanam invoking goddess Saraswati in Ragam Saraswati set to Rupakatalam. This is composed by Sri G.N. Balasubramaniam. Today's topic is Vedic origin of swaras. Before we sing them, before we analyze them, or before we even intellectualize them, let us return to the origin of nada. So journey, just now we saw, journey begins with nada, with the primordial vibration of sound. From nada arises the bindu, that is the concentrated point of sound. From the bindu emerges the kala, that is kala is the art forms. That is the expressive unfolding that becomes melody. So from this triad, the nada, the bindu and the kala, there is this ordered manifestation of sound. These three, nada, bindu and kala, they explain to us how the unmanifest sound, how the unmanifest manifests into the anahata nadam manifests into the perceptible sound or swara. So with this in mind, let us also offer our humble pranams to Saranga Devan, who wrote Sangeeta Ratnakara. He said, Nada Sarvasya Moolam. Nada is the root of everything. So how this nada, the primordial vibration, how it descended to the earth? Nada Sarvasya Moolam. So from nada, it all focused onto that bindu. And then from nada, it was converted into finer frequencies or microtones we call as shrutis, the 22 shrutis. From these finer microtones evolved the swaras. From the swaras evolved the ragas. So this is the root map. So before we sing, from now on, let us just focus on what vibration is happening inside us as we unfold this session. We will be presenting a very beautiful composition in Ragam Kurinji. This is a Tirupugal written by Saint Arunagirinadar. It says, Nada Bindu Kaladi Namo Nama. Nadavindu kaladi namo nama, Veda mantra swarupa namo nama. Nadavindu kaladi namo nama, Veda mantra swarupa namo nama. Jnana pandita swami namo nama. Vega Shambhu Kumara Namo Nama, Bhoga Andari Bala Namo Nama, Naga Bandha Mayura Namo Nama, Para Shura Sheda Randa Vinoda Namo Nama, Lida Pingini Bala Namo Nama, Sheda Danda Vinoda Namo Nama, Lida Pingini Bala Namo Nama, Dira Samprama Veera Namo Nama, Viri Raja Deepa Mangala Jyoti, Deepa Mangala Jyoti Namo Nama, Deepa So, how Swaras came to planet Earth. So there are 4 versions. The first is the Tattvam of Panchamukha Shiva. Swaras came from the 5 faces of Lord Shiva. The second version is Swaras came from the nature. Now the third version is, I will come there. But before that, let us see the concept behind Panchavaktra Shiva. So when Parvati Devi was sitting with Lord Shiva, she was asking Parameshwara, can you please explain how music is born? Sangeeta eppadi porandadu? How music is born? So Shiva says, please listen to me. And he says, the 5 faces, Satyojadam, Vamadevam, Aghoram, Tatpurisham and Ishanam. The 5 faces, the Swaras are born, not only the Swaras, but the Panchabhudas, Prithvi, Ap, Tejas, Vayu, Akasham. Not only that, the instruments that are there from the time of Vedas, that is the Veena with the Saraswati Devi, the Mridangam with the Nandikeshwarar, the Pullangudal with the Bhagavan Krishna. So these are the ancient instruments. So from the face Satyojadam, the Swaram Gandharam was born. Along with that, the Prithvi Tattvam was born. Not only that, instruments, Avanatha Vadyam means those instruments that use animal skin. For example, Mridangam. So that is Satyojadam, the Gandharam was born. Now coming to Vamadevam, the Swaram Daivatam was born. Not only Daivatam, the Jalatattvam or the Prithvi up is the next. Jalatattvam was born. From that, the musical instrument like conch, which we see, the Panchajanyam with Krishna, that was born from the ocean. Then comes the third phase, Aghoram. The fire element, Tejas element, was born along with the notes Shadjam and Rishabham. Along with that, Kamsavadyams like Elatalam, the gongs, all those were born along with that. The fourth phase, the Tatpurisham, the Swaram Panchamam was born. The Vayu Tattvam also was born. So Prithvi, Appa, Tejas, Vayu, and Sushira Vadyam like a flute was born, where wind plays the main role. Pullanguzha, we say, or Kumbh, that is also an airborne instrument. Finally, the fifth phase is the Ishanam, from which Madhyamam and Nishadam, along with the Akasha Tattvam, was born. So from this Akasha Tattvam, the Tatavatyams like, or the string instruments like Veena was born. So there is an Upapuranam called as the Brihadharma Purana. It is one of the last Puranas. Here, Bhagavan Vishnu explains the manifestation of Nadam that starts from the Mooladhara Chakram, and it rises up. So, Tyagaraja has beautifully brought it in his Kirtanam also. So, Nabhi, Hridayam, Khandam, Rasanam, Murtha. So, that is the path. And the Nada is very subtle in the Nabhi and the chest. And when it is in the throat, it is indistinct. And when it comes to the mouth, it is very vyaktam or very clear. It manifests as a sound. And then when it reaches the murdha or the cerebrum, again it becomes indistinct. So this nada that is coursing around from the Mooladhara chakra towards the Sahasranam, that course, this course is being beautifully explained by Tyagaraja in his composition, along with bringing that the names of the Panchavaktra Shiva in his composition Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram in Ragam Chittaranjani, set to Aditala. Nada Tanumanisham, Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram, Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram, Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram, Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram, Namami me Manasa Shirasa, Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram, Namami me Manasa Shirasa, Nada Tanumanisham. Modagara Nigamotama, Modagara Nigamotama Sama, Modagara Nigamotama Sama, Modagara Nigamotama Sama, Vedasaram Sama Vedasaram Samaveda Saram Varam Varam Veda Saram Varam Varam Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram, Namami me Manasa Shirasa, Nada Tanumanisham. Sadyo Jatadi Panchavatraja, Sadyo Jatadi Panchavatraja, Sadyo Jatadi Panchavatraja, Sarigama Padani Marasa Taswara, Sadyo Jatadi Panchavatraja, Sarigama Padani Marasa Taswara, Vidyalolam Vidalita Kalam, Vidyalolam Vidalita Kalam, Vimala Hridaya Tyagaraja Palam, Nada Tanumanisham, Vidyalolam Vidalita Kalam, Vimala Hridaya Tyagaraja Palam, Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram, Namami me Manasa Shirasa, Nada Tanumanisham Tanumanisham Tanumanisham. So So the next birth of Swaras, as we told earlier, as I told earlier, it came from the nature also. But before going to that, in Nada Tanumanisham, Tyagaraja reminds us that Nadam is a living entity. It is not just a sound we talk or we produce. It is a living entity. It is a force that moves everything from within. And according to him, sound in his vision is what gives life and form. So when you talk about sound or swaram, we are actually working with living entities or living vibrations. So when we look swaram through this lens, each swaram has got its own characters. It is created, it vibrates, and then it settles. It's like that. Some swarams very calm, some are very intense. So for example, we have ragas like Arabhi, which is a Raudra Rasa Pradhana ragam. Maya Malavagale, it is a Shanta Rasa Pradhana ragam. So it is the character of these swaras are being molded into these ragas. Now when we come to the swaram, does swarams have emotions? Each sari, gama, padani, we saw 7 notes. Do they have emotions? As per Naradiya Shiksha, it is said that Sa note has got the Albuda Rasam, the surprise element. Re is Raudram or anger. Now they have also color. The Sa is lotus pink color. So this is mentioned in Naradiya Shiksha. The Re is light yellow color. Gandharam is golden color. When it comes to Madhyamam, it is white. And Gandharam is Shantarasam or peace. And when it comes to Madhyamam, it is white color, and Hasyam or humor is the rasa behind that. Panchamam is black color, and Sringara Rasa Pradhanam. Daivatam is again yellow color, Bhibhatsam. So we can see the Navarasas, how they are coming into these swaras. Of course, there are variations in the frequencies, except Sa and Pa, Re, Gama, Dhani have got their own subtle differences in vibration, frequencies. But general is what is mentioned here. Finally, the Nishadam, which is having the Chitra Varnam, which is multicolor. And it is Karuna Rasa, or the kindness, embodiment of kindness. So we call the note Shadjam. Shat means 6. Shadjam is the mother of all notes. From that, all other, the remaining 6 notes, Re, Gama, Pada, Re, Gama, Pada, Ni. The remaining 6 notes are born from Shadja. So that is why it is called as Shatjam. Shadjam. So, and if you take, for example, Madhyamam, why it is named as Madhyamam? Because it is sandwiched between a Sariga and a Padani. It is standing on the middle. So it is Madhyamam. Panchamam is the 5th note, hence it is the Panchama. So like that, we have mentioned in Naradiya Shiksha. And when it comes to Samavedam, we have the Swaram, the Vedic tonal base like, Udatam, Anudatam, Swaritam. So we know Sangeetam is born from Samavedam. And in music also, we have the 3 sthayis, the Mantra sthayi, the Madhya sthayi, and the Tara sthayi. So we have exercises for that when we learn music. Then how swaras came from nature. That is the second version. So it is said that Sai is born from peacock, Mayura or peacock. Re is born from bull or Rishabham. That is Rishabham. Gandharam is born from goat. Madhyamam is born from heron, bird heron. Panchamam is born from the cuckoo, the kuyil or the cuckoo bird. Daivatam is born from horse, and Nishadam note is born from elephant. So that is what it is mentioned when it comes to the nature, how swaras came from nature. So, Tyagaraja has also mapped how the swaram is traveling in the human body, like, Nabhi, Hridayam, Kantham, Rasanam. So, I'll just sing the charanam of that particular song, Shobilo Saptaswara, and you will sing the swarams. Dharareksam Dharareksam madhulalo Varadayatri Hridayamuna Surabhu Sura Manasamuna Surabhu Sura Manasamuna Surabhu Sura Manasamuna Shubha Jagarajuni Yada Akasa Nitsani Bhamagari Bhamagari Sani Sasa Maga Bhavani Pa Sani Gari Sagari Sagama Pani Sasa Pasani Bhavani Nibani Bhamaga Mapa Sabhamagari Sasa Magari Sasa Ni Bhama Magari Sasa Gama Pani Sasa Ni Bhama Magari Sasa Sagari Samagari Bhamani Bhamagari Sasa Ni Bhamagari Sani Pani Sagama Pani Sa Ni Pani Sani Sagari Samagari Sani Pani Sagari Samagari Sagamani Mapa Sani Bhamani Sagari Sagama Pani Shobilo Para Swara Sundarula Vajimpave Manasa Shobilo Saptaswara So when we mention how music came to planet Earth, this is a very important information I need to present here. Narada is asking Lord Vishnu, he is going to Vaikuntham along with Vishnu, and he sees a lot of celestials looking very divine and enjoying, and they look so divine and happy. So Narada is asking, who are they? So Lord Mahavishnu says that they are the Ragadevadas. But when he sees this side, oh, who are they? They are all bleeding, they are blind, crippled. Such a pathetic sight I have at Vaikuntham. Who are they? So he says, Mahavishnu says, those are the Ragadevadas, just now mutilated and tone, because Narada's song was singing out of pitch. Narada did not sing with pitch purity and they got mutilated. Narada feels so sorry and he says, oh my God, how to give back life to them? He says, all the swaras have their abode with Shankara. Nada Tanumanisham is Shankaran. Shankara has to come and sing and give them life. So all of them are praying to Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is coming there and he is raising his nadam. And when he raises his nadam, the Raga Gandharam is born. Raga Gandharam is in golden color and extremely happy raga, and everyone is spellbound on listening to Raga Gandharam. So what is happening is Shiva is composing a padam as if a Nayika is sending a messenger to a Nayaka, where Nayaka is Lord Vishnu. So the Padam is in praise of Lord Vishnu. He says, I'm singing this Padam. So Mahavishnu is listening to that, and he feels the messenger is standing right in front of him and talking what the Nayika is having in her mind. So when he was fully into that, Shiva's Raga Gandharam is slowly shifting to Ragini Shri. And Ragini Shri is manifesting there. So she was the Nayika, and she was so much attracted to Lord Vishnu. She begins to meditate on Vishnu, and she is dancing around Lord Vishnu. And Shiva was singing, and at one moment, Mahavishnu felt that when the song is going on, Mahavishnu became the rasam of the music. Shiva was singing the rasam, the essence. So with music means it will be having some rasam or emotion. So Mahavishnu became the rasam of that music. At that moment, what happens is Goddess Shri or Ragini Shri merges into Lord Mahavishnu, and both of them descend to planet Earth as Nada Brahman in the form of Marga Sangeetam. So that is how it came to Bhumi. From here, so that is one version. So these are all complementary versions. They don't contradict each other. The last and final is, I need to say this. I know I'm running out of time, but quickly I'll finish. Sa is representing the Paramatma, the Satyam, that is the truth, that is always there. From Sa, the Paramatma, that is the Shankara, is passing on the knowledge to Rishis, that is the Ri. So the Rishis are passing, so Rishis are listening to all that, and they are being passed to the Gandharvas, the Kinnaras, and all the other celestial beings. So Gandharam. From Gandharam, the Gandharvas, it is coming to Mahi. Mahi is planet Earth. And planet Earth, how can planet Earth promote? So what is happening? There are rulers in the planet. Every kingdom has a court. They have musicians, court musicians. So the Mahipala, who are taking care of the Chakravartis or Rajas, they take care of the music, and every court has got a musician there, court musician. From there it comes to us, the Praja. The court musicians are teaching it to us, the Praja. So Sa is eternal Parabrahman, it is there, we are also there. So from Sa it has come to us, Pa. So how to go back? So from Ishvara, the Swaras came, and how the Swara will take us back to Ishvara. So from Pa, the logical path is the human beings, we have to live a dharmic life. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. The dharma, that is the note, Daivadam. So when we begin to live such a life with righteousness, it will lead us to Nirguna Brahman, the Nishadam. So like that we have all the 7 notes. After Nishadam, it is again back to Shadjam, that is the eternal truth. So with that, we'll just do a 2 minute of Swara Sadhana exercise. I'll sing just to feel the vibrations on our body. Sarisa, 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 sarisa. Sarisa, 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 sarisa. Garisa, 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 garisa. Garisa, 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 garisa. Rigama, garisa. Rigama, garisa. Gamapa. Gamapa, 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 nidapa. Gamapa, 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 nidapa. Padani, 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 nidapa. Padani, 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 nidapa. Pamapa, dapada. Pamapa, dapada. Dapada, pamapa. Dapada, pamapa. Mapada, mapada. Mapada, mapada. Padani, padani. Padani, padani. Danisa, danisa. Danisa, danisa. Ni, 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 ni. Ni, 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 ni. Danisa, danisa, danisa,
ధని స ధని స ధని స
ని సరి సని స
ని సరి సని స
సని స ని ధని
ధని స ని ధని
ని ధని ధ పద
ని ధని ధ పద
ధ పద పమ ప
ధ పద పమ ప
పమ ప మగ మ
పమ ప మగ మ
మగ మ గరి గ
మగ మ గరి గ
గరి గ రి సరి
గరి గ రి సరి
రి సరి సని స
రి సరి సని స
Sa is in the Mooladhara Chakram. Re the Swadhishtanam. Gandharam is the Mooladharam, Swadhishtanam, Manipuram, Madhyamam is on the heart chakram. Vishuddhi is the Panchamam, Ajna chakram is the Daivatam, and Ni is the Sahasrara chakram. So that is how the swaras are embodied in the human body. With that, we close today's session with a small bhajan on Lord Shiva.
अम्बा भवानी शिव शंभु कुमारा 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 श्री गणनाथा शांताकारा श्री गणनाथा शांताकारा श्री गणनाथा शांताकारा श्री गणनाथा शांताकारा पुराण पुरुषा सत्य साईनाथा पुराण पुरुषा सत्य साईनाथा पुराण पुरुषा सत्य साईनाथा पुराण पुरुषा सत्य साईनाथा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा अम्बा भवानी शिव शंभु कुमारा अम्बा भवानी शिव शंभु कुमारा श्री गणनाथा शांताकारा श्री गणनाथा शांताकारा पुराण पुरुषा सत्य साईनाथा पुराण पुरुषा सत्य साईनाथा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा प्रणव स्वरूपा परतीशा अम्बा भवानी शिव शंभु कुमारा जगन्माते जगज्जननी जगन्माते जगज्जननी जगन्माते जगज्जननी जगन्माते जगज्जननी जय जगदम्बे देवी भवानी जय जगदम्बे देवी भवानी जय जगदम्बे देवी भवानी जगदम्बे देवी भवानी जगन्माते जगज्जननी जगन्माते जगज्जननी देवी सरस्वती दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती दुर्गा लक्ष्मी देवी सरस्वती दुर्गा लक्ष्मी देवी सरस्वती दुर्गा लक्ष्मी महिषासुर संहारिणी माता महिषासुर संहारिणी माता महिषासुर संहारिणी माता महिषासुर संहारिणी माता जगन्माते जगज्जननी जगन्माते जगज्जननी जय जगदम्बे देवी भवानी जय जगदम्बे देवी भवानी जगन्माते जगज्जननी जगन्माते जगज्जननी देवी सरस्वती दुर्गा लक्ष्मी देवी सरस्वती दुर्गा लक्ष्मी महिषासुर संहारिणी माता माता महिषासुर संहारिणी माता महिषासुर संहारिणी माता महिषासुर संहारिणी माता जगन्माते जगज्जननी हरे साई 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 हरे 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 बाबा साई बाबा 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 हरे 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 साई 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 हरे 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 साई 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 हरे हरे अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणम् अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणम् अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणम् अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणम् कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं भजे कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं भजे कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं भजे कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं भजे श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं सद्गुरुनायकं साईनाथं भजे सद्गुरुनायकं साईनाथं भजे सद्गुरुनायकं साईनाथं भजे सद्गुरुनायकं साईनाथं भजे हरे साई 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 हरे 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 साई साई हरे 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 बाबा साई बाबा हरे 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 बाबा साई बाबा हरे 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 साई 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 हरे 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 साई साई हरे हरे अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणम् अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणम् कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं भजे कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं भजे श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं सद्गुरुनायकं साईनाथं भजे गुरुनायकं साईनाथं भजे सद्गुरुनायकं साईनाथं भजे सद्गुरुनायकं साईनाथं भजे हरे साई 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 हरे हरे शंकर शंकर सदा शिवा शंकर शंकर सदा शिवा शंकर शंकर सदा शिवा शंकर शंकर सदा शिवा सदा शिवा हे सांब शिवा शिवा हे सांब शिवा सदा शिवा हे सांब शिवा शिवा हे सांब शिवा शंकर शंकर सदा शिवा शंकर सदा शिवा अम्बा सहिता सा सदा शिवा साम्ब शिवा हे सदा शिवा साम्ब शिवा हे सदा शिवा शंकर शंकर सदा शिवा शंकर सदा शिवा सदा शिवा हे साम्ब शिवा शिवा हे साम्ब शिवा शंकर शंकर सदा शिवा सदा शिवा अम्बा सहिता साम्ब शिवा अम्बा सहिता साम्ब शिवा साम्ब शिवा हे सदा 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 शिवा शंकर शंकर सदा शिवा गोविंद नारायण गोपाल नारायण गोविंद नारायण गोपाल नारायण गोविंद नारायण गोपाल नारायण गोविंद नारायण गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोविंद नारायण गोविंद गोविंद नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोविंद नारायण गोविंद गोविंद नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण साई गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद नारायण गोपाल नारायण गोविंद नारायण गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोविंद नारायण गोविंद गोविंद नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोविंद नारायण गोविंद नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण साई गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद नारायण गोपाल नारायण ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक परि महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे माता गुरुदैवमु मरियन्तयो नीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयो नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्राशयन ॐ जय जगदीश हरे మంగళారతి అందుకో మండలగిరిధారి ఓం జయ జగదీశ హరే నారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం సత్యనారాయణ నారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం నారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం సత్యనారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం సత్యనారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం జయ సద్గురుదేవా నారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం సత్యనారాయణ నారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం నారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం సత్యనారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం సత్యనారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం జయ సద్గురుదేవా నారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం సత్యనారాయణ నారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం నారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం సత్యనారాయణ నారాయణ ఓం సత్యనారాయణ నారాయణ జయ సద్గురుదేవా శాంతి 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 సమస్తలోకా సుఖినో భవంతు సమస్తలోకా సుఖినో భవంతు సమస్తలోకా సుఖినో భవంతు శాంతి 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 జై బోలో భగవాన్ శ్రీ సత్య సాయి బాబా జీ की जय।
Om Shri Sai Ram. Invoking Bhagwan's divine blessings. Tomorrow is the second day of the 3-day Global Vedic Conference being held at Prasanthi Nilayam. The morning session in Sai Kulwant Hall will commence at 8 o'clock with Vedam chanting. At 8:20, the morning program will commence, comprising 3 erudite scholars addressing the August gathering. Dr. Sarita Iyer, Associate Professor, Department of Business Administration at Ettumanurappan College, Kottayam, Kerala. Dr. U. Suma, Chairperson, Center for Sri Sathya Sai Studies at Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Prasanthi Nilayam. And Professor Michael Sternfeld, Scholar in Vedic Psychology from Maharshi International University, United States of America. The morning session in Sai Kulwant Hall will conclude with bhajans and mangalarti, followed by Bhagwan's Divya Darshan. The evening session in Sai Kulwant Hall will commence at 4:30 with Vedam chanting. At 4:40, Professor Ganti Suryanarayana Murthy Garu, National Coordinator of Indian Knowledge Systems Division of the Ministry of Education, Government of India at AICTE New Delhi, will be addressing the August gathering, followed by a talk by Professor Ujjwala Chakradeo, Vice-Chancellor of SNDT Women's University, Mumbai. We'll then be having a dance presentation titled Nataraja Tandava by the Sri Sathya Sai Bal Vikas alumni. The evening session in Sai Kulwant Hall will conclude with bhajans and mangalarti, followed by Bhagwan's Divya Darshan. Jai Sai Ram.
ఓం శ్రీ సాయిరామ్. స్వామివారి దివ్యానుగ్రహ ఆశీస్సులతో ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలో జరుగుచున్న 3 రోజుల గ్లోబల్ వేదిక్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్లో రేపటి 2వ రోజున సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపంలో ఉదయం కార్యక్రమం 8 గంటలకు వేద పఠనంతో ప్రారంభమవుతుంది. 8:20 కేరళ రాష్ట్ర కొట్టాయంలో ఉన్న ఎట్టుమనూరప్పన్ కాలేజీలో డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ బిజినెస్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్లో అసోసియేట్ ప్రొఫెసర్ డాక్టర్ సరితా అయ్యర్ గారు ప్రసంగిస్తారు. తదుపరి ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలో ఉన్న శ్రీ సత్యసాయి ఉన్నత విద్యా సంస్థకు చెందిన సెంటర్ ఫర్ శ్రీ సత్యసాయి స్టడీస్ చైర్పర్సన్ డాక్టర్ యు సుమా గారు ప్రసంగిస్తారు. వీరి ప్రసంగానంతరం అమెరికా దేశంలో ఉన్న మహారిషి ఇంటర్నేషనల్ యూనివర్సిటీలో వేదిక్ సైకాలజీలో నిష్ణాతులైన ప్రొఫెసర్ మైకల్ స్టర్న్ఫీల్డ్ గారు ప్రసంగిస్తారు. రేపటి ఉదయం కార్యక్రమం భజనతో కొనసాగి మంగళహారతితో ముగియును. అనంతరం స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనం. సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపంలో రేపటి సాయంకాలం కార్యక్రమం 4:30 వేద పఠనంతో ప్రారంభమవుతుంది. 4:40 న్యూఢిల్లీలోని AICTE కార్యాలయంలో భారత ప్రభుత్వ విద్యా మంత్రిత్వ శాఖలో ఇండియన్ నాలెడ్జ్ సిస్టమ్స్ భారతీయ జ్ఞాన పరంపర విభాగానికి జాతీయ సమన్వయకర్త ప్రొఫెసర్ గంటి సూర్యనారాయణమూర్తి గారు ప్రసంగిస్తారు. తదుపరి ముంబైలోని SNDT ఉమెన్స్ యూనివర్సిటీ ఉపకులపతి ప్రొఫెసర్ ఉజ్వలా చక్రడయో గారు ప్రసంగిస్తారు. వీరి ప్రసంగానంతరం శ్రీ సత్యసాయి బాల వికాస్ పూర్వ విద్యార్థులు నటరాజ తాండవ పేరిట నృత్య కార్యక్రమాన్ని సమర్పిస్తారు. రేపటి సాయంకాలం కార్యక్రమం భజనతో కొనసాగి మంగళహారతితో ముగియును. అనంతరం స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనం. జై సాయిరామ్.
ఓం సాయేశ్వరాయ విద్మహే సత్యదేవాయ ధీమహి తన్నః సర్వః ప్రచోదయాత్. 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 ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। 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 ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि